Hi, I'm Brinda from Venvi Art Gallery. I would like to invite Maria Kellis. She's born in Greece, studied in MIT with multiple diplomas, and was very successful in corporate world. And now, though she's not given up on technology, she's moved from her serious kind of job to spirituality, and she's taken it so seriously. She's made it a profession. She is traveling all over the world in helping people and uplifting people and connecting their daily life with business, spirituality, and she's here to help us, and I'm very excited to ask her many more questions. Welcome, Maria. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and thank you for having me here. I'm so excited to participate. I'm so excited to be here. It is my honor, my pleasure to be here. So thank you for your warm welcome.
Maria, you are a spiritual entrepreneur bridging the world between business and spirituality. Why did you go, what made you go to this field, and what is keeping you excited in this field?
I started down this path not by choice, but because life led me. Um, I was a super achiever. I was working hard, doing the grinding. The grind and me were like one. I was always doing so much, and I burned out. I burned out, and I created like a horrible fate for myself. I ended up in a wheelchair with a disease that they were saying is incurable, that I would be stuck with for the rest of my life, and that my future seemed to be very bleak. And I was diagnosed with a very aggressive form of multiple sclerosis, and when it hits the spine, which is what I had, it seems to be, it was hopeless. The medicine wasn't working for me, so the doctors pretty much told me that I had no hope, and that is the beginning of my journey, because I knew only one thing, that I did not want to be like that for the rest of my life. I was pretty clear about that. And so I needed to find a solution, and to find a solution that I can find in medicine, I can find in, like all the traditional things that I knew. I didn't have any answers. So I started looking outside, and I found the answer in energy. And energy became something that to me is very real. I hear it, I see it, I smell it, I have all my senses developed. And I started seeing a world that was not accessible to me before. And more to the point, I didn't even think that world existed. And little by little, as I started becoming a part of this world, going deeper and deeper, I started understanding more. I saw that everything that I had done up to that point was only the beginning. And there was so much more to do. There was so much deeper I could go. And so I kept going. I kept going. And this is what allowed me to be where I am today, who I am today. And this idea of, if we think of ourselves, we're body, mind, and spirit. And I realized that when we do things, we become the doer. Then we start with the body. So we do things, but that is the actual slowest way. When we think things, it goes much faster. But when we use energy, it's lightning fast. And then I said, oh, I'd like that. So it used to be a hobby in the beginning. I was very scared to say that this is what I do, and then eventually became profession, and now I cannot imagine my life doing anything else.
That's wonderful, and I'm so glad that you found that moment when you found that energy of yours. And I want to help my friends, mostly women, who are working because they need to earn money, but they have some love for doing other things. And if they could combine the love for doing other things to money, they could quit the job, right? So when will they know that is their energy, their mind? Why I'm asking you this is, I'm a math major, and I was doing a lot of math, and I still do, and I love doing that. But when I really quieten my mind when I went for some meditation classes. I was a very busy person before going for meditation class, and I was doing only math. Now I do math, art, and gallery, and I'm still not a very busy person. I have the same family, same two kids, and I'm doing many more stuff, and I never feel I'm really swamped, busy, tired, and super cramped. So I'm thinking you need to really slow down the mind, not slow down what you're doing, I guess. So is there some advice? Yeah, go ahead. Advice you would like to
No,
give?
it's absolutely. I think you have hit the essence. We think that this time is linear. We think that time moves very fast and we're constrained by time and space. It turns out that we're not. It turns out that time and space are very malleable. And as you slow down and you come into your center, you're no longer part of the craziness. So you're not, instead of being dragged into what you do, you become the center. And when you are in your center, there's absolute peace and quiet. When people meet me, they always say, wow, there's such a sense of peace. When I'm around you, I can relax. And the reason is because that is the center. That is always there. That is always available. And things like meditation, slowing down, breathing, allows us to find our center, allows us to really come into that place of wellness, of love, of really finding who we are. And you were asking me about your audience, people who are artists, who may, who feel that they have to do something to earn money and do something else because they love. And I always say it takes courage, but combine the two. Combine the two in a way that makes sense. There's a guide in it's called Economics, which is a Japanese uh, guide for business, but it's really understanding what you love to do, what makes money, and what is good for the world. And the sweet point, the point where you're making money, doing loving what you're doing, and being very successful is when you love what you're doing, when what you do is actually needed and useful, and then and you're actually giving value to the world. When all those three conditions are there, you're actually finding the sweet spot for success in life. So instead of thinking, oh, I need to make money over here while I do what I love over here, for example, art, and I do go good in the world by volunteering, well, how can you combine the three? So for example, if you love art, well, could you, for example, create art in hospitals or create art as part of, projects that help youth or underprivileged youth? And instead of thinking, well, okay, both of them seem to be helping the world and I'm doing what I love, but where's the money? Well, guess what? There's programs out there where people sponsor artists to do this kind of work. You just have to find them. So for everything that you love, there is a solution to money. Money is not the, oh, well, I can only get paid doing one thing. That is not true. You can get paid doing absolutely everything. You just have to know exactly what you love. So when you get paid, you feel grateful for it. And the more grateful you feel, the more money comes your way.
And as you said, you will never get burnt out, right?
Oh, certainly. One of my classes is from Burned Out, Fired Up, because I find that this is a huge problem in corporate America and around the world, is that we push, and people are burning out around, so fast. Their performance goes down, their productivity goes down, their innovation goes down, their creativity goes down, and they don't even know it because their solution to being burned out, feeling tired, is to push even harder, to drink more coffee and stay up all night and try to make it work instead of realizing, take a step back, let's find my center again, and then I can actually find my genius zone. Because it is from our place of genius where what we do really creates something truly different, truly remarkable, and very, very needed.
And when you're talking, it also reminds me that people are made to believe that time does not wait for anybody, and that makes them like take a time as a competitor, to
Yes.
race the time itself. Instead, if they slow down, I think time revolves around you.
When people meet me, especially sometimes I will stay with friends or clients in their houses because I like them and husband. And they always say that when I'm around them, time either accelerates or slows down.
Mhm.
Because the truth is that time is not fixed. It's very malleable. And so you can increase time. It's almost like if you want to expand time to really create what you want during that time, or
Mhm.
reduce time for things that you don't like to go faster, you can do that. You can
Mhm.
play with that. But most people think that you can't. So instead of thinking, oh, time is my enemy, think of time as being your friend, something that is actually a variable that is very malleable. Time and space are not fixed, they are movable, and you can move them. All you have to do is set the intention, clear what you have to clear, find gratitude, love, and really allow yourself to experience this new connection, if you want to call it manifesting, or really bring into reality everything that you need.
Maria, this is not really related to art, but this make your what you said makes me ask you this. You speak in terms of love, vibration, flow, and I heard you in one of the interviews saying that the highest form of vibration you can reach was by love and gratitude. So we need some physical, tangible thing to reach the intangible things. So you said love and gratitude, and anything more than that is not available in this planet. Is this correct? Did I get it correct? Correct me if
Well,
I'm wrong. And can you kindly elaborate more on this? I'm waiting for this time. Thank you.
well, to start with, I do want to elaborate and say that it's not exactly true,
Okay.
but it is true that things have a vibration. There's a great work that was done by Dr. David Hawkins in the last century about kinesiology. You may have heard about muscle testing. It's used a lot these days, and muscle testing comes from this idea that things have vibration. So our body the knows how to test. And so what Dr. Hawkins did is he created a scale of consciousness. And if you're interested in that, there's a great book called Power versus Force, or another one called The Eye of the Eye, where you can learn more about this. But to summarize that book and also to summarize my understanding, let me just say that things always vibrate. And there are things that are heavy and there are things that are light. So in the physical space, a rock, for example, is very heavy and air is light. Yes? Well, if you think about it from a physics perspective, if you remember physics from high school, if you apply energy to anything, it changes state. So if you have a block of ice and you apply energy in the form of heat, it changes state, so the molecules start moving faster and then becomes liquid. And if you keep applying energy, that liquid starts to evaporate, so it becomes gas. So the same thing, water was solid, it was liquid, or it was a gas. And this is, so if you think of a rock and air, well, actually, a rock can actually evaporate. It just needs a lot more energy because, it happens, for example, in a volcano, all the volcanic ash. I mean, what is it? It's just molten lava, which is rock, eventually will actually evaporate. It becomes air. So anything can go into that state. So if you think of ourselves as human, as we're applying energy, for example, when you're meditating, when you're creating, connecting to the above, when you're finding love, you literally raise your vibration. And as you raise your vibration, you become a lighter being. And as you become a lighter being, you literally start floating. And I'm sure, it's not many people in the world that actually can float. I myself cannot do that. But there are people who know how to levitate because literally if you apply enough energy, you float. from my perspective, I can move time through time and space, but I haven't mastered the art of levitation yet. One day, maybe, if I have time.
That's wonderful, Maria. And you were saying like, if you want to change the vibration, and if you want to uh, be with, be like somebody, go connect with them and do what they do, and that changes your vibration. That's so true, because what attracts you is very infectious. People start trying to become like that and eventually become like that. And do you have any advice on that?
Absolutely, absolutely. A vibration is something that is a resonance, and we each have it. So some of us can hold it very nicely, and some of us just take on like the wind with the environment. So a crystal, for example, I love crystals. They have a tendency to hold vibration. So I always surround myself with crystals because they hold a certain vibration that I like. So, and sometimes crystals vibrate faster than even gas. So that's part of the reason we surround ourselves with crystals. So you may have heard that.
Yeah.
In So when you are around somebody, what they do is really what they vibrate as. So for example, if you hang out with somebody who has a lot of money, well, guess what? Their vibration is money. And so if you hang out with them, then your vibration will raise to that level. If you want to have, if you want to have a spiritual awakening, you usually want to hang out with somebody who has that understanding. So, for example, my students, part of the reason I do a lot of live classes is because as people get to be around me in my vibration, that like literally raise. And very often my students will say, wow, I'm starting to have out-of-body experiences, I'm starting to move space and time, I'm having miracles in my life. Well, yeah, exactly, that's my vibration. They hang out
That's
with
so
me.
true. Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. I totally agree with you. And I was listening to one of your interviews, and it sounds funny, but I really called up one of the friend in Chambers to ask many more questions on expanding my business. And she's coming for lunch tomorrow to my gallery, and I didn't even think about this before. And it
Nice.
really helps. Just listening to your YouTube does help. Now the next
Glad.
question is,
Thank you for listening to those. Thank you for spending the time. I appreciate it.
oh, I love your interviews, and I admire your interviews so much, and I feel so fortunate you're here. It means a lot to me. Now I have a question for art collectors. How would you, what would you say, like, what kind of art is suitable for them, and how should they decide what art is good for them and makes them happy? How can they do a decision?
Mhm. So one thing that I'd like to say is that the same way a crystal vibrates, the same way a person vibrates, well, guess what? A piece of art is actually a collection of vibration. So think of it as the artist put their soul into creating that piece. So when you look at a piece of art, like you have a beautiful, beautiful piece of art behind you, when you look into it, you ask yourself, what is the feeling that I'm receiving? What is the feeling that I'm getting? And just close your eyes and sit next to the piece of art and ask, what am I feeling? Or if you're a very visual person, look at the art, but really ask your heart, what am I feeling? What you're feeling is the vibration that this piece of art, if you want to call it, has for you. So as you're collecting art, ask yourself, what is the feelings that I want to surround myself with? Because when an artist creates a piece, what they're doing in their work is they're capturing a feeling into a piece of art, into a painting, into a song, into an object, into a sculpture. They take emotion that seems so ineffable and they really bring it into form. And that is the magic of art. That's why art is so beautiful to us, because we see it and it has an emotion. And the best singers in the world are, for example, if you listen to their voices, they make you feel things. They transport you. They, they make you cry or laugh simply by their voice. They're composers. They're using emotion, because this is the art. This is the magic of art. It allows you to get transported emotionally to a place. So as you're collecting art, ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? And say, is that a feeling that I like? If you feel elated, if you feel beautiful, if you feel like expansive, well, that's the feeling you want. The feeling that I get from the art piece behind you, there's a mystical feeling to it. So, it's very, very beautiful, but there's something very mystical about it. So I'm like, well, if you want to feel mysticism, well, take a look at this art. And if it feels mystical to you, bring it to your home, bring it to your office.
Oh, thank you, Maria. The art behind me is by artist Mark Messersmith. His opening is on November 1st. So I'm in my art gallery. So guys, come on in if you're in Tallahassee on November 1st, Venvi Art Gallery. Thank you, Maria. Okay, what would you say for artist, business, and spirituality collectors? Do you have any combined message for all of them?
Sure. And I know we spoke a little bit before, and I was explaining about the river. Was I explaining it during this interview, or was I doing this in the previous interview? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I think I would like to hear it again.
Okay, let me go through it again. And I apologize if, we just had a previous conversation with Brinda, and we're having the same, another conversation now. So if you heard it again, don't worry. It's good for you to hear it again. So there's two parts of the energy. There's the yin and the yang. There's the male and the female, the flow and the solidity. So as we're thinking of the energy, the combination of energy, I always think of it as the bedrock and the river that goes through it. So when we create, for example, somebody who's in business, they have a lot of doing in them. So they're doers, they get things done, they have schedules, and that's a lot of energy that has to do with doing. But when you have art, it's a lot of flowing energy. A lot of people say, well, something like sales pipelines, I mean, how can you combine energy with that? Well, I'm like, sales is the easiest thing to combine energy with, because sales is like really becoming magnetic and attracting the sales to you. You're no longer trying to push the sales, but you're pulling the customers to you. So it becomes not push marketing, but pull marketing. And so when you surround yourself with objects that have the flow in them, what you're doing is you're allowing yourself to go in the flow. You're bringing that energy into your being. And try, see how it works. Surround yourself with crystals, surround yourself with art, and see how your business actually increases. It's very interesting, but it happens all the time.
I agree with you. I love what you said. You really put it very well. And Maria, you were talking about from burning out to fired up program you have created to help people. And I'm very excited to know more about that program and see how it can help our viewers.
Absolutely. So to start with, for your viewers, I have a special link. So they can go to mariakellis.com/extraordinary. So that's MariaKellis.com/extraordinary. I'm sure you'll post the link as well. And I'm giving them a free gift, which is energy, a collection of tools for energy for business. So literally how to prepare for meetings, how to relax throughout a stressful day, how to go into sleep better, and then so these are beginning tools. So I find that because of the way we do business right now in the world, we have this pushing energy. So we push harder, and then eventually people burn out. Because if your soul is not nourished, if you give without receiving, you empty. And when you empty, you really are out of energy. And so in the class that you're asking about is I'm teaching people how to keep their energy contained within themselves, how to really stop any leakages, if you want to call it that. So the energy doesn't go everywhere, but it stays inside, and then bring more energy into themselves. So then they become so energetic, they become fired up, they want to do more. When people meet me, they ask me, is there anything you cannot do? I mean, seriously, do you ever sleep? My team, they're convinced that I never sleep. I do. I like sleeping. But it's because I use my time so efficiently that everything that I do it is contained in a way that it is accelerated. So things just I do one thing and then there's 10 things that happen on their own, and then I do one more thing and then 10 more things happen on their own, and that part is part of the magic of flow, and that is what makes business and in general life great. Meeting
That's
the right time, having the right opportunities, having all the resources you need, all this comes together at once.
wonderful. Mm-hmm. That's so sweet. That's wonderful. Maria, do you have anything for today? Or are you offering anything for the audience today?
Sure. So as I said, they can go into my website, mariakellis.com/extraordinary, and receive this free gift. And then, you'll receive messages from us, and, from time to time when we have programs starting, we will let you know when they start. So I would love to see you in the programs that I have. I have to say that for me, each and every student that comes into my classes is a gift. And I consider that my purpose is to help. And so every person that comes to learn from me, to work with me, I have the most sincere gratitude for them because they're helping me fulfill my purpose. So I take my job very, very seriously, and I treat people in the most respectful way, because I believe that we're in a time and space where we're shifting the business paradigm. We're changing the world. And the world doesn't change because I say, oh, do this and it changes. I used to actually work for the government, and top down never works. It works from underneath. And so each and every person, as they transform their families, their environments, and their whole life gets transformed. So um, I believe that as we change, as we create this new paradigm, we we become the role models for the people that come after us. So they look up and they say, "Wow, look, I can be authentic. I can come from my heart. I can have everything that I want in life." And this is my hope and dream, to tell people, be you, be authentic, be the amazing being that you were born to be, and the world is waiting for you to be you.
That's wonderful, Maria. I love what you said. The business doesn't have to be from outside to inside, like earning money. What do I do to earn money? And I have to go for a job and do this, and finally ignoring what you love most, because our life is finite, it's not infinite. In this finite lifetime, we have some priorities like children, love, spouse, house, whatever, our health, and we want to distribute our attention and awareness to everything which is very important to us. So if we try to do something from inside with love and then work and then make it a business, then it is not as draining or very difficult as it had the life has to be. And so I want people to do that shift. Try the shift. It looks impractical, but it's very beautiful, it's lovely, and I would like to support people who are thinking in those lines. And that's a reason I was really connected, so excited to meet you and see what you have to offer for us. And I'm so grateful that you agreed to talk. And I use your video to uplift others who talk to me, who have any problem. I just don't give them advice. It's so easy to just forward your video, share your video with them.
Thank
They just love it, and I didn't have an opportunity to tell you how much they love your. I've been sharing with my sisters in India and my friends everywhere, my friends in Singapore. I just love it, and I would really I'm so grateful for one other thing, because I met Maria in a Zuckerberg Institute by Randy Zuckerberg. So I'm grateful to them. I'm grateful for Maria for being so kind to come and talk to us today. Thank you, Maria, so much. And I wish everybody takes advantage of Maria's offer, and we'll give the links in the Facebook too.
All right. Well, thank you for having me, and absolutely welcome to my world. And remember that life is beautiful. It's extraordinary. It's meant to be extraordinary. It's meant to be beautiful. Enjoy life. It's such a precious gift. So thank you for having me. And again, thank you for listening to what I do and forwarding it to people. I truly appreciate it. This is the greatest gift you can give me. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. It's our honor, pleasure, and privilege to have you in today with us. Thank you.